Your choice reveals a recurring pattern that may be shaping your reactions long before you notice it. What draws you in at first glance is rarely random. In a Jungian test like this, the symbol you choose often points to the way your inner world protects itself when life feels uncertain, unstable, or emotionally heavy. Sometimes we call it instinct, sometimes we call it taste. But in Jung's test, even a small choice can act like a mirror, showing a hidden style of defense, a private wound, or a silent need that has been repeating beneath the surface for years. The umbrella you feel pulled toward is not just an object here, it is a symbol of how you stand under pressure, how you manage emotional weather, how you hold yourself together when something inside you fears loss, change, rejection, or chaos. This is why your first reaction matters more than analysis. The mind likes to explain, but the psyche often chooses first and explains later. So do not overthink it. Simply choose one umbrella from 1 to 5 and stay with the very first one that stirs something in you. Do not compare them for too long. Do not try to be clever. Let the image choose you as much as you choose it. The first impression usually carries more truth than logic because it comes from a deeper layer, the layer that symbols reach before words do. And that is where this Jungian test becomes personal. By the end, I will connect your choice to something concrete, practical, and real, a step you can actually take in your life, so this is not just reflection, but movement. Only at the end will the full meaning become clear, because what seems like a simple choice now may reveal a pattern you have been living without naming. But before we go further, pause the video, leave your name in the comments, and mark this moment with intention, because when you consciously enter Jung's test, the symbol begins to speak with more meaning, and the message has a way of reaching exactly the part of you that is ready to be seen. If you chose option 1, this usually happens when life starts to feel unstable, and something inside you decides that slowing down is too dangerous, so you move faster, you speak sooner, you act before the feeling can fully reach you. Stay with me, because this matters. In Jungian language, fire is never just fire, it is psychic energy in motion. It is will, force, heat, urgency, and sometimes a brilliant light that hides a deeper fear of helplessness. A burning umbrella is a strange symbol, because an umbrella is meant to protect, while fire is meant to consume. That tension says a lot about you. It suggests a person who protects themselves by becoming more intense when the world becomes uncertain. You do not collapse first. You ignite first. Pay attention to this, because the gift and the shadow live very close together here. The gift is courage. The gift is presence. The gift is the ability to move when others freeze. But the shadow, as Jung would say, often appears in the very quality that once saved us. Strength becomes pressure. Passion becomes reactivity. Leadership becomes the need to control every emotional temperature in the room. This usually begins earlier than people realize. Maybe you learned that hesitation cost too much. Maybe softness was ignored. Maybe the safest way to survive confusion was to become the strongest force inside it. So now when life gets messy, your system says do more, push more, decide now, speak now, fix it now. Here is the hidden twist. What looks like confidence can sometimes be armor against feeling powerless. What looks like certainty can be a refusal to sit with pain for even a moment. See what happens next inside this pattern. In daily life, this may show up when a message hurts you and instead of pausing, you send 3 back. Or when a plan changes and before anyone else reacts, you take over everything so you do not have to feel disappointed. Or when someone grows distant and your first instinct is not to ask gently what changed, but to become sharper, louder, hotter, harder to ignore. This does not mean you are wrong. It means your energy learned to become a shield, and that shield has light in it. The archetype here is the warrior, but not the empty version people perform. The real one, the one who learned to survive by carrying fire. Still, every warrior needs to know when the battle is outside and when the battle is inside. Stay with this sentence. Not every moment of instability is a call to attack. Sometimes it is a call to witness what has been triggered. Sometimes the strongest thing is not expression, but containment with awareness. Today, the next time you feel the urge to react immediately, set a timer for 10 minutes, place one hand on your chest, and write one honest sentence that begins with the words, "I feel powerless when." Then, do not send anything, fix anything, or explain anything until the timer ends. That small pause will show you whether your fire is serving your truth or only protecting the wound beneath it. If you choose option 2, this message usually appears when part of you wants peace, but another part still refuses to lower its guard. You may look calm on the outside, yet inside there is static, like a storm waiting behind glass. That blue umbrella charged with lightning is not only protection. In a Jungian sense, it is a symbol of psychic alertness, the mind trying to control uncertainty by sensing everything before it happens. This is the pattern of someone who often lives between desire and fear. Desire says move forward, trust, speak, love, begin. Fear says wait, scan again, read the signs one more time, prepare for what could go wrong. Stay with me, because this is where the shadow quietly enters. The shadow here is not weakness. It is the hidden belief that rest is dangerous, that surprise leads to pain, that safety only exists if you remain mentally ahead of life. So you watch, you calculate. You feel the charge in the room before anyone says a word. You notice the pause in a text message, the shift in a voice, the change in a plan, and your inner world starts building possibilities faster than reality can confirm them. This gift is real. It can make you intuitive, perceptive, almost impossible to fool. You often sense what others miss, but there is tension in this gift, because what protects you can also imprison you. The same mind that detects patterns can trap you inside them. The same awareness that keeps you safe can keep you waiting. Here comes the turning point. Sometimes the danger is not what might happen. Sometimes the danger is the life you keep postponing while you prepare for it. Picture an ordinary evening. You are holding your phone, staring at a message you want to send. It is simple, honest, human. Maybe it is a reply. Maybe it is a question. Maybe it is the truth about how you feel. You write it, delete it, rewrite it, check the tone, imagine their reaction, remember something old, feel your chest tighten, and suddenly 10 minutes become 40. Nothing has happened outside, but inside a whole weather system has formed. That is option 2. Not because you are broken, but because some part of you learned that being prepared felt safer than being open. Jung would say the psyche repeats what it has not yet made conscious. So this choice may reveal a person whose deeper conflict is not between strength and fragility, but between control and trust. Pay attention to that. Your soul may not be asking for more analysis. It may be asking for a small experience of safety inside action. Today, set a timer for 15 minutes and choose one decision you have been delaying for less than 1 week. During those 15 minutes, do not research, do not reread old messages, and do not ask for reassurance. Write the clear next step on paper. Take that step before the timer ends, and then sit still for 1 full minute, noticing that the world did not collapse when you moved without over-preparing. If you could choose 3, it often means your heart is tired of noise yet still afraid of what honesty might disturb. So you reach for what is elegant, quiet, refined, almost gentle enough to make the deeper tension disappear. But stay with me, because this is where the story becomes more intimate. In Jungian language, the symbol you chose can reflect a schema you repeat without noticing, a pattern in which the persona stays graceful while the real feeling waits behind the curtain. You may be the one who keeps the atmosphere smooth, who softens the truth, who senses discomfort before anyone speaks and quickly covers it with kindness. That is not fake. It is intelligent. It is adaptive. It is often beautiful. But it can also become avoidance, and avoidance dressed in beauty is still avoidance. Here is why this matters. The ornate umbrella does not protect through force. It protects through style, through composure, through the quiet message that everything is under control. Yet inside, another movement may be happening, a disappointment, a resentment, a fear that if you say what is true, something precious will crack. So you learn to remain lovely instead of clear. You remain considerate instead of direct. And after a while, your persona becomes so polished that even you begin to forget how much is being held back beneath it. Here's an unexpected twist. The people around you may admire your calm, while never realizing how much effort it costs to maintain it. Picture a simple scene. At work, someone overlooks your contribution again. You smile, say it is fine, and keep the meeting moving. In a relationship, something small hurts you, but you answer softly, change the subject, and later tell yourself it was not important. In daily life, you agree to plans you do not want, postpone a difficult reply, keep peace at dinner, and then feel strangely heavy at night, not because something dramatic happened, but because your truth was quietly set aside once more. This is the schema. Keep harmony first, risk honesty later. But later rarely comes on its own. Jung might say the shadow gathers wherever the persona becomes too narrow. So the sadness you cannot name, the irritation that surprises you, the fatigue that seems larger than the moment, may all be signals that your inner life wants more room than your role allows. See what happens next. The gift in this choice is real tenderness, emotional intelligence, aesthetic depth, and a rare sensitivity to tone. The shadow is the habit of disappearing inside your own refinement. You do this not because you are weak, but because some part of you learned that being easy to love was safer than being fully known. Today, choose one pending commitment you have been delaying because it may create discomfort. Spend 15 minutes completing it or answering it with one clear sentence that says what you actually mean. No softening, no extra explanation, no decorative apology. Then read it once, send it, or act on it before your avoidance can rename itself as patience. If you chose 4, this usually appears when control feels safer than surrender, and the thought of loosening your grip feels too close to losing something important. It may be your dignity, your stability, your image, your place in someone's life, or simply the sense that you still know where you stand. So you hold yourself together very carefully, you keep your tone measured, you stay composed, you reduce what you show, and from the outside, this can look like strength. But stay with me, because Jung would say that what looks strong in the light often hides a shadow that has been working in silence for a long time. The dark umbrella is not only a symbol of protection, it is a symbol of containment. It suggests a person who tries to master uncertainty by narrowing exposure, limiting expression, and controlling what can be seen before anything can be taken away. This is not coldness in the simple sense. It is often fear of change translated into discipline. It is fear of being moved translated into self-command. It is fear of loss translated into limitation. You do this more often than you realize. You may call it being practical. You may call it being mature. You may even call it staying realistic. But sometimes it is a private refusal to let life touch the places that still feel vulnerable. Jung's idea of the shadow helps here. The shadow is not only anger or darkness. It is also the part of you that has been excluded, so the rest of you can remain acceptable, stable, in control. When this pattern becomes too strong, your own needs begin to look inconvenient. Your softness feels risky. Your uncertainty feels embarrassing. Your desire to be reassured feels like something you should outgrow. So you become the one who endures, the one who manages, the one who says very little and carries a great deal. You recognize yourself here more than you usually admit. Think of an ordinary moment. Someone asks if you are upset and you say no even though your body is tight and your mind has been replaying the same conversation all day. Or a change happens at work, and instead of saying that it unsettles you, you go quiet, become efficient, and try to make yourself smaller than the disruption. Or someone keeps crossing a line, and rather than give a clear response, you withdraw warmth and hope they notice. This is the tension of option 4. You protect what matters by withholding, but the price of that protection is often distance, and distance can quietly become loneliness. Here is the deeper truth. Not everything is asking you to surrender completely, but not everything is asking you to control it either. Sometimes life asks for a clear position, not silent endurance. Today, choose one unresolved situation that has been draining your energy and give it a direct answer before the day ends. Write one sentence only, beginning with either "Yes, I want this" or "No, I will not continue this." Then say it, send it, or act on it without adding a soft excuse. Let that clear yes or no become proof that honesty can protect you more deeply than control ever could. If you chose 5, this usually appears when something in you is already done with the old arrangement, even if your outer life has not caught up yet. This is the choice of movement, of inner weather-changing direction, of a self that no longer wants to survive only by repeating what is familiar. There is dynamism here, but not chaos for its own sake. There is a pressure toward change, a living force that wants to break the established order, because the established order has started to feel too small for who you are becoming. Stay with me, because this is where Jung becomes useful in a very simple way. Individuation, in essence, is the courage to become more whole. It is the slow integration of the parts of you that were separated by fear, habit, duty, or image. It is not about becoming perfect. It is about becoming real. The green floral umbrella carries that vibration. It protects, yes, but it also announces life. It suggests someone whose soul does not only want safety, it wants renewal, it wants alignment, it wants a version of life that feels inhabited, not merely managed. The light in this symbol is growth, adaptability, creative response, the ability to feel disruption and still move forward. But the shadow sits close by. Sometimes the desire for transformation becomes a pattern of permanent motion. New plan, new routine, new idea, new beginning, but the same avoided truth underneath. You know this more deeply than you usually say out loud. You may postpone a decision because choosing it would close other doors. You may avoid one necessary conversation while filling your week with smaller tasks that look productive. You may promise yourself a new daily habit, a new chapter, a new standard, yet keep standing on the edge because beginning for real would change how others see you and how you see yourself. That is the inner highlight here. Your life may not be asking for more possibilities. It may be asking for one honest act. Picture something ordinary, a message you need to send, a boundary you need to set, a habit that clearly weakens you, a drawer full of old plans, half-started, a conversation delayed for weeks, because once it happens, the old version of things cannot return. This is where individuation stops being an idea and becomes a lived threshold. Jung would say the psyche suffers when it is called forward and keeps choosing delay. Not because change is easy, but because the unlived life begins to weigh on the one you are living now. So listen carefully. The point is not to become dramatic. The point is to become decisive. Today, choose one change you have been naming but not embodying, and make it irreversible within the next 15 minutes. Send the message, cancel the thing that no longer belongs to you, remove the object, app, or contact that keeps feeding the old pattern. Put the commitment in writing and tell one real person before the day ends. Small does not mean weak. Small can become fate when it closes the road back to self-betrayal. That is what option 5 carries, not restless novelty, but the quiet courage to let your next self become visible through action. What all 5 choices reveal is not 5 separate personalities, but 5 different ways the psyche tries to protect itself when life feels unstable. One person reacts by intensifying, another by anticipating, another by softening, another by controlling, another by moving toward change before change arrives on its own. Different umbrellas, same deeper pattern. Somewhere underneath each response, there is an old fear trying not to be felt again. That is why this is not really about taste. It is about repetition. It is about the quiet mechanism that takes over when uncertainty touches something unfinished inside you. In simple Jungian terms, the symbol you chose points to the meeting place between persona and shadow. The persona is the way you learn to function, the face that helps you manage the world, the style of protection that became familiar. The shadow is what gets pushed behind that style. Under confidence, there may be helplessness. Under vigilance, there may be fear. Under grace, there may be resentment. Under control, there may be grief. Under constant motion, there may be a postponed truth. This does not make your pattern false. It makes it human. It means your mind and your nervous system found a way to survive before they found a way to understand. And that is why there is no wrong choice here. Each option carries both intelligence and limitation. Each one shows a gift that once protected you and a shadow that may now be asking to be seen more clearly. That is the real movement of inner work. Not judging the pattern, not romanticizing it, recognizing it, naming it, loosening its automatic power. This is where something important begins to shift. The moment you can see your first instinct without immediately obeying it, you are no longer trapped inside the old loop in the same way. You are no longer only the person who reacts. You become the person who witnesses, chooses, and slowly integrates. That is why this moment matters more than it seems. You did not just choose an image, you touched a pattern. And if you stayed until now, then part of you is already ready for a new beginning, not a dramatic reinvention, but a more honest relationship with your own inner world. There is accomplishment in that. There is dignity in seeing yourself clearly without turning away. There is strength in understanding that your defense was once necessary and may no longer need to lead every moment of your life. Today, when something small disturbs your peace, pause before reacting and ask yourself one question only. What is this moment reminding me of? And what would a more conscious version of me choose now? Write the answer in one sentence. Keep it visible for the rest of the day, and let that sentence become a new inner reference point. The real test begins after this video, because awareness means very little unless it changes the next choice you make, and the next one, until the pattern that once ruled you becomes the doorway through which you finally return to yourself. If this touched something real in you, do not leave quietly. Please indicate your chosen number in the comments. Please type your name. Let this moment become personal, because when you name your choice, you stop watching from a distance and start recognizing yourself inside it. Maybe one part of you already knew why that umbrella called you, and maybe another part is only beginning to understand. Both matter. What matters even more is that you do not let this insight fade the moment the video ends. Keep it with you. Let it follow you into the rest of your day. Let it stay close the next time you feel yourself repeating the same old reaction, hiding behind the same old defense, or waiting for a better time to be honest with yourself. This is how a small symbol becomes a real turning point. You do not need a perfect explanation yet. You only need honesty. The choice you made is already a clue, and clues matter when the soul is ready to stop repeating and start integrating. Return to it tonight. Ask yourself what it showed you about the way you protect your heart. Ask yourself, what would change if you answered life from a more conscious place? Like this, not because you have to, but because something here spoke to a place in you that has been asking to be seen. Subscribe if you want more of these tests that do not just distract you for a moment, but help you notice what your inner world has been trying to say in silence. And above all, do not stop here. Watch the next test on your screen right now. There is always another symbol, another pattern, another hidden door, and sometimes the next choice reveals what the first one could only begin to uncover. Stay with this path a little longer. You may be closer than you think to the truth beneath your habits, the feeling beneath your mask, the strength beneath your fear. So write your number, write your name, and step forward with intention. The moment you do, this is no longer just a video. It becomes a mark in your story. A quiet decision to see yourself more clearly, and that kind of decision, once made, has a way of changing everything that comes after.